Hi, everybody. I'm Reverend Wally White with Unity in Greensboro. And I thought it would be fun to talk about Christmas trees. I love Christmas trees. And one of the things I love about them is they're all different in their own way. Sure, can you go into a store and you see a lot of them that have been done in the same way? Yes, but if you start looking, there's a slight change of where something is placed and that sort of thing. And even if they were exactly the same, that's like that store's fingerprint. All of our fingerprints are different. And so our trees manifest in the same way as we decorate them. This one here behind me, this way behind me, I've had that tree since 1994. It's a little 3-foot tree. I bought it at a drugstore in Los Angeles on Wilshire Boulevard in 1994 on Thanksgiving Day. And so in the 90s when I bought it, it looked different in what I chose to decorate it with. This year, I shifted things up, and you can't really tell from here, but like I put ribbon around where I used to put beads around and expressing something different. For me, a tree is always about the lights. That's my favorite part. I love all the lights. Like if I had a tree that didn't have any actual decorations on it, but it was lighted up with a whole bunch of lights on it, I would turn it on every night and enjoy that. I know other people would be like, no, I'd rather see the pretty decorations and that sort of thing. At the church, we had someone donate a tree to us this year, and everybody brought in decorations. And for the last 2 weeks, people keep bringing in decorations. And so it keeps evolving, and it's beautiful, and I love it. So I thought it was worth looking at, what is a metaphysical Christmas tree? What does that mean to us? Because we talk about metaphysics all the time. Often I'll say metaphysically that represents, or metaphysically that means, but we never really go in deep on what metaphysics is. So the first thing I want to do is, rather than give you my lesson on what metaphysics is, and I recognize most of you know, but it's always good to have those reminders, right? So rather than giving you my lesson on it, there's a video up of my teacher teaching. And so I thought rather that we would just go straight to the source. So enjoy this little lesson after I click some buttons to share a screen, and make sure we share the sound. Okay, here we go. Let's make sure we go to the spot. Okay, no, that's not the spot. Here we go. Here we go.
Metaphysics is a word that hangs people up. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. Metaphysics is the systematic study of the science of being. By pure metaphysics is meant to give a clear understanding of the realm of ideas and their legitimate expression. Meta means beyond, M-E-T-A. Physical, physics. So physics, physical. So what metaphysics is, looking beyond your physical body, looking beyond your physical understanding, looking beyond your physical feelings, but getting to the spirit of you. The spirit of you is who is made in the image likeness of God, not this body. You see, look at us. We all look different, so we can't, even though some of us are related, we still look different. So understand that what Jesus was here for was to teach us that there's a better us. There's one made in the image likeness of God. Are we understanding that so far? All right. A metaphysician is one skilled in the science of being, a student and a teacher of the law of spirit. Ephesians 3:16 says this, that he would grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with might by his spirit in the inner man, your spiritual self, in the inner man, that Christ may dwell in your hearts by faith, and that ye, being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend with all saints what is the breadth, the length, the depth, and the height, and to know the love of Christ, which passes knowledge, that you might be filled with the fullness of God. So it's all that we're teaching here is to go beyond this physical, because your physical is what gets sick. Your physical is what gets hungry, gets tired, gets weary. We want to go behind that, because beyond that is the spiritual you, who is never tired, never afraid, never sick. So that's where we're trying to go. That's what these teachings about. And I have to pray a lot, because people misunderstanding that word cut themselves off from getting to their real selves. Metaphysics deals with consciousness, and consciousness is your sum total of inner awareness. What you are consciously aware of is what's inside of you. Hello? Okay? So we are dealing here with conscious awareness, with the inner you, the Christ inside of you. Okay? Metaphysics is about the real you, about the inner you. You see, John 7:24 says this: judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. The outer of each of us is just an appearance.
That's what we wanted to share. Let me cut this video off here. All right. It's I love my teacher, and my life was changed when I found her, and I found unity, and I found the Fillmore teachings, and so it's so important to know that, like, when we use something like the Bible, that rather than use it in the way that people have traditionally used it, and often in that way use it as a weapon against people, or use it as a way to say thou shalt not, that we use it in a way metaphysically at looking at our own consciousness, which is expressed through our thinking and our feeling nature. And so Reverend Della, in that lesson that she gave, also gave a full lesson talking about a Christmas tree. And so I was like, I want to look at that lesson. Metaphysically, what Reverend Della said was that the Christmas tree represents the connecting link between earth and heaven, grounded in our earthly experience and stretching to our heavenly experience and nature, because that is the truth of who you are. You have a heavenly nature all the time. You are whole, perfect, and complete right now, regardless of how you feel, regardless of what may be going on in your body. Maybe there's something that has been diagnosed as an illness. You're still whole, perfect, and complete, because that part of you is your Christ part, your God part, your spiritual part. And that's what you turn to when you look for the healing, when you look for that. So I liked how Reverend Della said that the metaphysics is talking about the real you, the inner you. And the inner you is what we invite into our experience. It's never forced on us. It's never like out there on its, like, we have to choose to use it. We can go around saying, well, this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong. Let me give you the reasons. I can write books about the reasons. You can. All of us can. There are things going on in the world, in our own lives, that we can look at and see from our human experience, from our physical experience, why some things may be wrong. But when we want to turn it around, and when we want to find the good, that's when we tap into our inner selves, our true selves, our Christ. See, Christ wasn't the first or last name of Jesus. It's not the first or last name of us, but it is absolutely as much a part of who we are as it was Jesus. That's why Jesus came to teach that. It's like, hey, you should know this, right? So when we look at what the metaphysical Christmas tree is, and we accept that it's this connecting link, there's also in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, it says that trees, or not in the Bible Dictionary, I apologize, in the Revealing Word, that a tree represents the nerves within our body, which stretch all over our body and communicate across, right? And if you look at then Christmas, is about the birth of more Christ in the experience, right? The Christ, the more Christ. And so we're communicating that into our lives. So if you accept that premise, then the question becomes, how are you decorating your home? Your home, where you live all the time, not your house, your home. What are you decorating with? Some love and some forgiveness? Or are you trying to express the God attributes that are a part of your full experience? Are you allowing in some way to make that connection so that heaven metaphysically represents the harmony between our body and our mind, meaning from that heavenly experience getting into the physical experience, not just what we get in meditation or while we're asleep, while we're walking and talking and living our lives, we can express that heaven nature within us out by choice. And the same way when you choose to decorate a tree, you by choice decide what you're going to put on it, what you want it to look like, decide how things get laid out. Are you one that throws the tinsel? I don't have any tinsel on my tree, but are you the one that throws the tinsel or places them one by one? Both are fine because they both have a message of the decorator and the choices that they choose to make. That's what we all get to do. So when we look at decorating a tree, what's the first thing you do? You put lights on it. When you put lights in your life, you prevent the darkness from experiencing anything or from you experiencing the darkness, right? Darkness cannot exist in light. So that's why I like so many lights on my tree. That's why I want so many lights in my life and in my experiences. And metaphysically, those are turning to something that always makes you happy, thinking about something that makes you smile or laugh or just feel that warm, fuzzy feeling. That's your metaphysical light. Are you decorating your tree? Are you decorating that connecting link of heaven and your earthly experience with lights? Do you like the colored lights, the white lights? Do you like just kind of a sparse little bit? And that's fine because it only takes the mustard seed. Even the tiniest little light prevents darkness. There may still be darkness around, but you can focus in on that light, you see. What else are you putting on your tree? Are you putting in forgiveness? Now, we're going to talk about the gifts that are under the tree and giving forgiveness to other people. But are you allowing to forgive yourself? Are you releasing yourself from something that's holding you down? Or when you think about it, you maybe get mad or sad or whatever, you don't feel good. Are you willing to release that, to forgive it, forget it, and let it pass you by? That's the lyrics from a song that Reverend Della wrote as well. People say, oh, well, I'll forgive, but I'm not going to forget. Well, then you probably aren't forgiving either. And believe me, the people that you're not forgiving, most of them are moving on about their lives and they're not even thinking about it anymore. That's why it's important for us to forgive, to release ourselves from it so that we can experience our happiest and best lives. So are you giving yourself the gift of forgiving and cutting it loose? That doesn't mean you got to say it was okay. What you're saying is, I'm not carrying this around anymore. I'm not going to carry the negativity around. I'm letting it go. I'm blessing and releasing, right? Are you giving yourself the gift, the decoration? Are you expressing encouragement? When you get that inspiration for this thing, are you allowing the negative chatter to say, oh, well, you don't know how to do that, or you're not qualified to do that, or you're too old, or you're too young, or you're too, right? Are you doing that? Are you stopping and saying, I feel inspired by this idea. I feel excited when I think about it. So I'm going to encourage myself to move forward with that. And whatever I don't know, I'm going to accept that the answers or the way to go about it are going to come to me because I'm opening myself up and I say, I'm ready to receive and I'm ready to be the hands and feet of God with this divine idea that I feel excited about. Are you decorating your connecting link, your consciousness? That's your connecting link. Are you decorating your consciousness with forgiveness and encouragement and light? Are you accepting that you're holy? Meaning that you don't have to sit down and pray to God who is somewhere else on a cloud or in some other space or energetically somewhere that you've got to get quiet and tap into. You do need to get quiet to get to your God self often, because it's the still small voice that's never going to scream at you. But it's always there. You're always connected. It's just that often we turn our attention in other directions, and we have to make the choice to turn our direction and look at and think about and accept to flow through us, our God selves. We have to start by not even just saying, oh, I'm worthy of that. I am that. I'm one with God, and I'm accepting that holiness to flow through my consciousness right now. Are you using wisdom and discernment to choose the direction that you want to go? These are ways that we can decorate our connecting link, our consciousness. And then we place a star on it, that Christ star that becomes like this crowning light, right? We've already got our little lights on it. On my tree behind me, I've got a bow on there. But within our consciousness, as we're going into this, we're expressing the Christ within us. The Christ is simply God working through the human experience. That is the Christ. When we allow God to, and that spirit, whatever word you want to use, right? I say that Reverend Todd Humphrey says, call it peanut butter if you want to, right? Whatever that is, but you know that it's something seriously good. This is creation in and of itself, not just the creator, but the creation, both. And that is the Christ. And are you putting that and saying, yes, I am using my Christ mind. I am using my Christ consciousness. I am using the Christ part of me, and I'm crowning my consciousness with it. That's what we do when we put that big star on top of our metaphysical Christmas tree. And then what kind of gifts are you putting on it? Are you giving out love on purpose, saying, hey, you know what's a good thing to do? Love. Yeah, love. Because here's the beautiful thing: when you're giving from within, you get it first. It's got to work through you, to you, for you, and as you, before you can express it out into the world. So when you give some love, if you think you need some love, go give some love, because you're going to get it first. And then it's going to multiply, because that's how it works as a magnet. It draws more in. Maybe not directly from the person you gave it to. Probably not in many cases, right? So you don't want to get caught up in, well, I gave them the love and then they just took it. They didn't even say thank you. They just took it and left. Well, that's because that's not who you were supposed to get it back from. That's who you were supposed to give it to. They needed it from you. You're going to get it as long as you keep yourself open, right? So are you giving love? Are you being generous because you want to give? Because as you give, so shall you receive, right? In order to receive, you've got to give. But now you can't give just because you want to receive. The giving has to be open and honest, and like just this thing that feels good to be generous, and you're excited to give for the sake of the giving. And when you do that, the flow continues to go. In fact, you want to do that. If you want to keep giving the very best, you got to give with that generous heart, and then accept the receiving of it, so that then you've got more to give again. Whether, it's in there. Kindness and understanding, that's something that we can all use all the time, but certainly during the holidays, when there tends to be more of a hustle and bustle, and it's like, oh, I got to get this stuff done, I got to get this to, taking that breath and having kindness for the person that pulled out in front of you, because they didn't do it to be mean to you. They weren't paying attention to you, because they're caught up in the same hustle and bustle you are, right? So can you just take the breath and be like, you know what, God bless you. God bless you, because I didn't need that parking space, because there's an even better one for me. And if that even better one is further away, well, hot dog, I get to get some exercise while I'm also getting this other stuff done. I am blessed right now, and I'm going to claim it, and I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm not going to let negativity jump in here and mess up my good flow, because I am blessed, I am whole, I am complete, and I'm sticking to that. The gifts. When the wise men came to Jesus, they gave, we all know, gold, frankincense, and myrrh, right? Gold represents metaphysically the riches of spirit. Frankincense represents the beauty of spirit, and myrrh represents the eternity of spirit. So will you give yourself the gift of accepting that you are rich, beautiful, and eternally existing, or eternally, right? So, and are you willing to give that out and recognize that of other people? You are rich and highly favored. You are beautiful. You have been, are, and always will be, because you are eternal, because that is the Christ nature that connects us all. Will you put that tree up and use that tree during this holiday season and as you go on about your life all the time? Because you can shift it. You can call it your January tree. You can call it, we're talking about your consciousness and how you exist in the world. Do that on purpose. Give yourself that gift. Then we all will get the benefits of it. I'm going to give it to myself, knowing that other people will get the benefits as I receive that. And I'm going to give it to myself so that other people can receive the benefits of more good flowing in the world. Enjoy Christmas. Enjoy your tree. Enjoy using your consciousness on purpose and expressing all the good that you have flowing through you, to you, for you, and as you right now. I love you. I bless you, and I behold the Christ that is you. And as I leave, I invite you, if you feel blessed by this, to give a gift to Unity in Greensboro. You can do that by clicking a donate button. I think there's one here on YouTube. I know there's one on our website at unityingreensboro.org. The giving is up to you to do in the way that you feel called to do it. Never feel pressured to do it. Do it because you want to do it. And wait till you see what happens when you do that with intention. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed life. Go have a good week on purpose.